So I want to start this video, and if you're watching the replay, hopefully you watch the whole thing, but if you're watching the replay, please understand that I'm not coming at this because I'm claiming to be some kind of medical expert, because I'm not in any way, shape or form. Yes, I've been a personal trainer for 20 years and now I'm just in the online space helping coaches with their business, but I wanted to make this content to give business owners, in particular those that have a service-based business, just some very, very simple ideas and ways to potentially think about this so that we can, while, worrying about our survival because of the whole thing that's going on with the entire world and the coronavirus at the moment, while we're worrying about that and dealing with it and having our own internal fears and worrying about our families and, whether we self-isolate or whether we get instructed to do that because even schools are closing down in our country, and there's a lot of other countries apart from Australia that are much worse hit with the entire situation. But while we're doing that, while we're managing our lives, unfortunately, if you work for yourself, we still have to manage our business and worry about those things as well, because if we run our own business, we're probably not going to get funds from the government for doing nothing. So here are some ideas that I've been sharing with some of the coaches that I actually train. I actually train. I don't know if you could call it train. Anyway, some of the coaches that I coach with their own businesses. So here are some of the ideas. So one of the girls that I've got at the moment, she's in childcare, and she helps parents with their children, with everything, with settling from tantrums to bedtime routines and all the rest of it. And she's amazing at it. She's got 20 years experience. She's actually also working in a childcare centre. So they're borderline closing, right? And one of the methods that I help coaches use to expand their business and their reputation is to do seminars. But obviously, because the government's cracking, and in all countries is obviously recommending that we don't do large congregations of people together, that she's now not allowed to do her seminars that she was planning in the childcare centres. And it will be the same in gyms. It will be the same pretty much everywhere. Although I know in Australia at the moment, today, as of making this, or as of yesterday when I caught up with the news, because at the moment I'm travelling around Asia, but that's another note. I'll tell you about that in a second. I know that, it's recommended that we don't congregate in large groups, etc., which makes total sense, until, we know a little bit more about what's going on. I'm not saying that you should be scared of dying. We all have our own fears. I think we need to get our facts from, a really good source. Obviously, I don't want to get stuck in Asia, though. I will say that. I'll say more about that in a second. Now, something that this childcare worker was expressing, because she has a program where she helps parents, and one of the ways that we get her to gain credibility is she does seminars and workshops for parents, just parents that are parents. It doesn't really matter what's going on in a parent's life, whether we're self-isolating because of a pandemic that's going around the world, because the government's telling us to close down things, because there's fires, because there's whatever traumatic thing that's going on in the world. We still have our lives, right? And if you're a business owner and somehow you help people with their lives in any kind of way, here are some ideas that you can help with. So this lady with the childcare business, what we're going to do with her business page, and what I highly recommend anyone, I guess, in any service industry, if you can help people, thank goodness we still have access to the internet. So if you run a business, here's some tough love. You still have to be a leader. You are still responsible, I believe, for helping to contribute to human beings in whatever way, shape or form it is. And most of you guys that I help are actually coaches in health and fitness and that realm. So it's even more important for you to be getting your message out online, because guess what? The internet is still working. So until the internet does not work, you do not stop trying to actually help people. And part of, I think, raising my voice now, but part of what will actually even ease the panic even more is if you do choose to step up and worry about other people just for a small section of the day, even if you can't leave your house because of whatever's going on. If you can contribute to humanity in some way, shape or form for a small section of the day, worry about helping other people, just for example, like making a video or putting some content out so that people could do a workout at home. What the childcare worker is, I keep coming back to that story. Okay, here's the 6th time I'm coming back to it. But my childcare worker, obviously, for example, families in Italy and a lot of the United States are very, 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 very shut down. So do you think they have access to the internet? Of course they do. Do you think they might still be parenting in this girl's case because she helps parents with their young children? Of course they are. Could they possibly be facing, crisis mode in terms of obviously just normal childhood routines? Of course they are. So it's still possible for her as a coach of children to help the children. And it's still possible for you, if you're a health, fitness, nutrition, dietetics coach, whatever it is that you might do in terms of helping humans with their body, is it possible that there are people around the world that might need to hear your information, especially right now, especially about immunity, especially about stress relief, especially about handling yourself, especially about, obviously in Australia, how to wipe your bottom, necessarily not without toilet paper because you might not have any. And I don't mean to make light of the situation, but my nature really just has to, because it's not that I'm not taking the facts into consideration. I'm not one to over panic about things. I will say my family is panicking a little bit because we are in a big group of us at the moment traveling. We're in Bali, but you know, we might come home a little bit early, we might not, who knows. But it's day at a time, guys. It really is day at a time. But all I wanted to do was just share with you the fact that if you do hold a position in your own life where you're kind of in charge of your own business and you're a service-based business, and if you don't necessarily have an online component, now is time to get an online component of your business. If you have to physically shut your 4 doors, now is time to get obviously an online component. And it doesn't even really matter if you work in somebody else's gym or if you work in somebody else's whatever. You know, I guess that's just always been my MO, and one of the motivators of me is like, how can I help humanity? So if you've got any questions or any ideas, please feel free, comment on this post, send me a message. I really don't mind if I'm the one that's responsible for sharing your ideas. I can do that as well if you want. Or if you've got any questions of, hey, I'm in this business and I really want to be able to do whatever, like, please feel free to shoot that through to me. I seem to have this enormous amount of ideas for everyone, regardless of the business that they're in, even though I, 99% specialize in health and fitness people. But guys, it will in a couple of weeks obviously be business as usual. And I'm definitely not trying to play down the importance of what's going on at the moment. But if you work for yourself, we really can't shut down, can we? And more importantly than that, the driving factor really does need to be, there are people out there that actually need your help. That always has to be the driving factor. I know it's a very talked about thing in the marketing space, but when you're a coach of some kind of people with health in their body or fitness or something, and you really, really do it for the love of it, you can do it for the love of it and still run a business. They're not two separate entities. So please know that, for one, but let that driver and that care inside of you for other human beings actually help you to contribute, and do it as many times a day as you can. As many times a day as you can have access to the internet. And it's not because you're doing it to sell stuff, it's doing it because you're actually helping improve humanity. That might be a rather big, weird call for some people watching this video, but whatever. So if you run your own business and you're in this space and you help people with their body, I know that that's why you actually do it, and that's what you get off on. It's not that you get off on the money. That happens to be a very good side effect, but also an epic side effect that we seem to forget about is the fact that you can help raise people's health, you can help raise their consciousness, you can help decrease their stress levels. It's needed now more than ever. So feel free to comment below this. Love you to watch the replay. Love you to share it, tag anyone who needs to hear it. I'm going to go and put this video in as many places as I can. And I guess I will update you guys and my family as to, please feel free to message me as well if you find out that Australia is not allowing anybody to be flying in anymore. All right, talk to you guys soon.